Okay, this is part two. Now, where was I? Oh yes, about my experiences with alien abduction stuff. Oh yeah, I was talking about the vision that they showed me of the sky crack. And they were telling me how, like, when this happens, I have to be ready, and that they have a purpose for me for this time. Of course, they tell me that I was special and crap like that. They always tell all of us abductees that we're special, we have some sort of weird divine purpose in their name. They always tell us that they created human beings or the earth or both. I never get a straight story from them or a straight answer about anything. Hell, I'm pretty sure they're lying about their names. Now, a lot of this I don't remember. A lot of details I don't remember because honestly, I have tried really, really hard to forget it. But I want to ask you something. You ever been raped? You ever been tortured? You ever been any of these things? Have you ever had really terrible shit happen to you? Well, if you have, I'm pretty sure you too have tried your best to forget it. To put it out of your mind and forget it even ever happened. Of course, you always fail and the nightmares never end. And like I said, these things only stopped messing with me when I came to Christ when I was 16 years old. And as a believer, I do believe that I have to defend my faith. In fact, just look, and for you atheists who are going to mock me, probably leave a bunch of ugly, ugly comments under my video or act like you're smart and shit like that. Well, like I told you in my introduction, I don't respond to bullshit. Okay? Go ahead and hate on me. Go ahead and whatever. Because I tell you this, an atheist is all inclusive except for Christians. Honestly, you atheists think you're so tolerant. Have you ever been to Stalin's Russia? That was a completely atheistic society. And want me to tell you how tolerant they were? They weren't. Ask somebody that lived in Stalin's Russia. Ask them about how. Ask a Christian. Ask a Jew. Ask a Jew that has lived in Stalin's Russia and ask them how tolerant atheists are. You're not tolerant. Hell, your fucking morals change with the fucking weather. And I know that when the time comes, you will be the first to take the mark. Again, I'm not going to try to convert any of you atheists, really. I will share my faith with anyone who is willing to listen. And yes, because of shit that has happened to me, I looked for answers. I asked questions. Right now, I'm a fucking domestic terrorist because I was asking questions. I can't get a passport. I cannot leave the country or fly on a plane. I can't do any of that. Even to this day, I have people bugging my house, bugging my phone. I have And not necessarily because of the aliens anymore, but because of asking these questions, looking for answers. I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. What the hell is happening to me? And I found a pastor. I told him about these experiences, and I want to tell you something. A lot of Christians, pastors, when you do tell them about alien abduction experiences and stuff like that, they too kind of scoff you. They too don't really believe you. And I've even been told by many Christian pastors when I finally opened up about this to seek professional help. Like I said, because I talked about this, I looked for answers, I was put on all kinds of again, I used to be a child genius prodigy. I had like these people from all these schools from New York and shit wanting me in their school. But because I've talked about the alien abductions, I was labeled as crazy, put into the mental hospital or counseling. Okay? Then, of course, with this labeling, I put a target on my back for bullies. And to tell you the truth, unlike good little nerds who just take their noogies and let themselves being stuffed in a locker, I fought them. Wasn't the politically correct thing to do and blah blah blah, but I fought them. Sometimes I won, sometimes I lost, but I was always the bad guy. I was always the bad guy, so, of course all these scholarships and stuff, they dried up because, you can't have a violent, unpredictable, crazy person in this genius school, and maybe if I kept my mouth shut, maybe if I didn't look for answers, maybe if I just let them give me my nuggies, my beating, my lockering, what have you, maybe I would be a top scientist rubbing elbows with the likes of Stephen Hawking and Dr. Michio Kaku. But it didn't happen that way. And it's too late for it to happen that way right now. And honestly, I'm fine with that. But anyway, I did finally find a pastor who would listen to me. His name was Stephen Earth. He was the one that brought me to Christ. Pastor Stephen Earth of the former, now it's called Elevate or something. I forgot what his ministry is called now, but it used to be called Grace Free Will Baptist Church. He was the pastor there in 2004. Though the ministries moved and changed names, and I still have some contact with the pastor. I was not able to make the move with the congregation because of financial and geographical deals, but I was able to get into another good Bible believing and Bible teaching congregation. But I don't know if Pastor Steve believed me, but he listened. And he told me and he showed me things in the Bible about this. In fact, the Bible says a lot about the alien abduction agenda phenomenon. It really does. About how it's going to be like in the days of Noah. But if it wasn't for Pastor Steve, I'd probably still be abducted. I'd probably still be on drugs and have a lot of problems. Pastor Steve changed my life. More importantly, Christ changed my life. Now, my life didn't get all magically better and hunky-dory or anything like that. And again, I still have people like you atheists on my ass. I'm still labeled as one crazy fuck. But maybe I am crazy. Maybe I am crazy for believing in things like the Bible. Believing in a man who was God dying for my sins. You know what? I wasn't born 2,000 years ago. Hell, I wasn't even a twinkle in anyone's eye 2,000 years ago. Yet, this man died for my sins so that I can get in heaven. That's something really powerful. If you're not a believer, really think about it. You weren't alive. Not even your grandparents or great-grandparents, nobody like that was even alive back then. Yet he died for our sins. He didn't even meet a one of us back then. I'm sure he knew of us. I'm sure he knew that we were all going to be born, we were all going to live our lives. But, yeah. So, atheist, guess what? The Lord predicted your existence too. You're the scoffers. You're those who will scoff and proclaim yourselves to be wise, when really you are fools. Really. You are fools. You think you're wise. You think you're so smart. But really, you don't know shit, and you're fools. In fact, you have no fear of God because, again, you don't believe He exists. Even more so, the top two things of an atheist mentality is, one, God doesn't exist, and number two, I hate Him. Well, how can you hate someone who supposedly doesn't exist? If God so doesn't exist so much, I mean, you got solid evidence that God doesn't exist. Why waste your time bashing Christians and attacking the Bible? It's because you know deep down inside, you're only kidding yourself. Well, you can go ahead and kid yourself. You can go ahead when the Antichrist comes, and he will come. Go ahead, because you know what? You don't think you'll be worshiping somebody. Believe me, you're going to be worshiping the Antichrist when he comes. You say now there is no God. Well, when the Antichrist comes, you're going to proclaim him God. Then you're going to burn in hell. And that's the truth of it. That's the big and small of it. I came to the conclusions and these beliefs because I looked for answers, and these were the answers I got. Anyway, I'll talk more later. For now, I'm signing off. Thanks for listening to me.